Hello, vinyl community people. It is Wednesday. Yes, it is. And it's time for another Chris Brophy type thing. It's not a thread, I don't think, but this is inspired by Chris Brophy, who's musically obsessed still. Thankfully, that's good for all of us. He's spreading the good word of music in these top 5 lists. So he did a 5 from the 70s. Well, sort of like I guess it's 5 that represents each decade. So 5 that show the 70s, 5 that show the 80s, and then he did another one about the 90s. So it's kind of up to the listener what that decade meant to you, I guess, right? So we all have different things going on in our lives at different times in our lives. So the 90s was kind of a different phase for me. I just came out of university in 1991. Worked in Toronto for a couple of years, so I was going to a lot of the big clubs. So I was really into alternative stuff right from the 80s right into the 90s. So, I was into these guys. This is their debut EP. This is just called the Verve EP. I can see it backwards there, but frontman Richard Ashcroft there he is. So yeah, this release here I think was from 1992 right there. Hard to read the small print. And it's a 5-song EP featuring Gravity Grave, Man Called Sun, She's a Superstar. I mean, it's really neo-psych. It's just really trippy. It's excellent music, man. And yeah, so I got that, and then I saw them on this tour for A Storm in Heaven, which is their first full-length LP right here. Still, they were in the same vein of music, that really psychedelic, neo-psychedelic kind of sound. Some shots of the band here. So there's a radio station at the time called CFNY 102.1 FM, of course, that featured lots of great alternative and new music. And they had a studio where you could go, and if you got there early, you could hang out and see bands before they were playing. So this Verve show was only at a small club called Lee's Palace. Capacity is probably about 500, maybe 700 tops. I think I'm being a little exaggerating when I say 700. The place wasn't that big. So just basically one level, a stage, and and up above there was another bar called the Dance Cave where you could rip it up after the concert. So I went to see the Verve on this tour. I remember it was like a Tuesday night and I had to go to work the next day. It was a horror show because it was a late night, but that's the Verve. And then they had another album called A Northern Soul. I don't have it, but then I have the follow-up in 1997, which was Urban Hymns. I had a CD copy of this that grew legs at some point, just like my Northern Soul. I cannot find that anywhere. I don't know if I lent that to somebody and it's misfiled, but I know I lent this to somebody and I didn't get it back a million years ago. So last Sunday I was at a record show. I'm going to do a video coming up of recent finds. And the guys from Purchase Street Records from New Bedford, Mass. Shout out to Roger. He was up here in Marlborough. I was at the show and I got this copy sealed for $10. It's really excellent. They somehow stretched it out. They do it with a lot of these re-releases to 2 LPs. But they're all here. Bittersweet Symphony, right? That was a huge single from them. They came a long way from here to here. Big gap there. And at this point, they were bound for, Reading Festival, Tea in the Park, all those big festivals in England. They were headlining at this point. They were very big. And when they'd come back to Toronto, they weren't playing the Dance Cave anymore. I think they did another 1 or 2, and then Richard Ashcroft went off on his own. But yeah, those first 4 albums, counting this EP, pretty essential 90s for this guy. And then along the same veins, I was into Curve. Saw them too. I can't remember where that venue was. This CD's seen some parties. Fronted by Tony Holiday, female lead vocalist. Total smoke show, real beauty. I don't know if there's any shots of her on the inside here. No, not on that one. Let's see. So that's called Doppelganger. And on that one, the huge hit was a song called Fait Accompli. En français. And then the follow-up was this one called Cuckoo. Not as good, but still, if you're going to get any Curve, get that debut Doppelganger right there. Trying to find a shot of Tony Holiday here. Everybody should see Tony Holiday. She's fantastic. There she is. Unfortunately, you can't really see her. She's got her hat over her beautiful face. Oh, there's a shot. There she is right there. Great Tony Holiday. Awesome. So here's some more shots of the band. There's Tony Holiday right there looking great. So yeah, that's Cuckoo. And then I bought this just for good measure. Odd Title, Pubic Fruit. It's a collection of, they had 4 EPs, the Blindfold EP, the Frozen EP, the Cherry EP, and the Faye EP, like Fait Accompli. So anyway, yeah, this is just a collection, right? Like it says on the front. The Coast is Clear is a really good tune to look up off of this, and 10 Little Girls too. Very good. So Tony Holiday and Curve. Another band I also saw, this was at the Concert Hall in Toronto. This is James. I don't know, I think this is like their 4th or 5th release. This one's from 1991. It's called Seven. I saw them on the Laid tour a couple years later in 1993, that was, I believe. But this is really good, chock full of hits. 6-piece band. Tim Booth is the front man, really excellent singer. They put on a terrific show. They have a trombone player and a trumpet player, but it's not funk. It's totally what I would call Britpop at its best. There's no other way to describe it. Born of Frustration, Ring the Bells, those 2 tracks at the beginning of this, not to be beat, really great. Bring a Gun, Mother's a really great ballad on this. Just some odd artwork. I don't know if one of the members of the band did that artwork, and then you can see on the inside. Take that back, it's a 7-piece band right there. There's Tim Booth on lead vocals right there, and there's the rest of the members of the band of James. So that's 7. Really great album. Ring the Bells. Excellent, excellent tune. Coming back to the States, Sheryl Crow and her debut, Tuesday Night Music Club. This is one in the summertime. You picture yourself just sitting on a patio at a bar having some pints in the sun. It's great. No one said it would be easy. That's a song in this, but this is easy to listen to. Run Baby Run, Leaving Las Vegas, 2 big hits from this album. Can't Cry Anymore. I mean, it's really solid. Her first 3 albums, I have all 3 of those. I really like them, and then my interest petered out. But yeah, she's still active today, doing her thing, and that's Sheryl Crow, Tuesday Night Music Club from 1993. Going a little industrial here, back to the clubs, like I said, in Toronto at that time. I was doing it, and I saw these guys on the Lollapalooza tour. I saw the tour back-to-back, 92 and 93. I can't remember which year they were. So that tour came up to Toronto. There was a venue, it was just basically a field north of Toronto called Molson Park up in Barrie, which is a Toronto suburb, a town called Barrie, anyway, called Molson Park. And we camped out and partied our asses off 2 years in a row. Really great. I saw everybody up there. Alice in Chains, these guys, Tool, Jim Rose Circus played on the side stage. That's a freak show circus. If you want to look up any Jim Rose Circus stuff, it's pretty wild stuff. And these guys were from Belgium, industrial kind of like Einster Neubauten, if you know them at all. Skinny Puppy, but a little more accessible than Skinny Puppy, and it's got a good beat and you can dance to it, right? So Until Death Us Do Part, Circling Overland, and of course Headhunter was a really great track on there. Really good one. And that's Front 242, just called Front by Front, the name of that release. And lastly, we'll be gazing at the Shoes, Shoegazing Pioneers. It's their 2nd album. It's Slow Dive, Just for a Day, Spanish Air, Celia's Dream, Catch the Breeze. It just feels like a light breeze. I can't think of her name, the singer. It's really great. I know they're from the UK. Don't ask me which city. It doesn't matter. But yeah, they're still active today as well. Let's see this. Look at this jewel box. It's been through a war zone. Still got it though. A little skimpy on the liner notes. There are none. They're just on the back here. So that's Slow Dive. Lots of good live YouTube clips of Slow Dive. Like I said, they're still active today, still doing their thing. So 5 that represent the 90s for me, as Chris does, 5. So there's 5 for you. So anyway, jump on this, have some fun, make it a thread. I don't know, you could do 5 from the 80s, 5 from the 70s, 5 from the 50s. I don't care. Do it. And get over and subscribe to Chris Profi, Musically Obsessed. I'll leave a link to Chris's video he did on the 90s right in the description below here, and see if you can dive in. I had to show mostly CDs because that's all I was buying in the 90s. That's what everybody was doing in the 90s, for everybody I knew. And then I came back. I was buying records in the 80s, went to CDs in the 90s, and in the early 2000s, I jumped back buying records again before these inflationary times of expensive records again. Anyway, I'm rambling, so it means it's time to end this video, and I'll see you in the next one.